Welcome to Piggy's Podcast, week 4, third week filming, third different location. That's fun. Every single week it seems like it's shitty weather, so one week I was in total darkness because I couldn't find light. Last week I was in a parking lot, and this week I'm in my basement looking like Casper the Ghost because the light's shining right on me. Still haven't found a movie maker that works without a million ads or like slowing down my computer tremendously. So going to continue working on that, but hopefully I'm filming this before class, maybe after class I can find one that works, but if not, you're stuck with just the videos in this week. Other than that, no more podcast news, just going to get into some scores. It's a big week we had 2 brother-on-brother matchups, that was interesting. Start off though, we had Barnsey versus Davis. Barnsey beating Davis 142.3 to 118.8. Barnsey had a big game out of Philip Rivers and Melvin Gordon. They combined to give him 58.8 points. Pretty good duo there. Not a great game out of James Conner. It sucked because I have him in my other league, only 9.4 points. But Brandon Cooks and Stephon Diggs both had about 25 points each. Not much else from the rest of Barnsey's team, but pretty good showing for Davis. Andy Dalton had a really good game, 30.8 points. Gurley put up 25.6, which he seems to do every week. And Kelsey had 20.8, but other than that, pretty underwhelming performances from everybody else. And his defense got a negative 3 points, which sucks for him. So now both of those teams are 3-1, as Davis's first loss of the season. Next up, we had the first brother-on-brother matchup, Kyle and Corey Fayola. Kyle winning 170.2 to Corey's 149.9. Kyle had a big game from Matt Ryan, 35.3 points. He seems to have been having a pretty good year from what I've seen in these score recaps that I do every week. Keeps me very well informed. I don't know why the fuck else I do this. Also, Adam Thielen continuing to have a really good year, 27.5 points. And Jared Cook, fucking 31 points. If you could have predicted that, probably would have won some money in DraftKings this week. And Sterling Shepard with 25.7 is also pretty good. For Corey, Drew Brees only having 8.6 points really fucking hurts. That's not great. Need more out of Drew Brees. But Zeke had a good game, 34 points, and James White with 31.2, pretty good. Also, he played Tyler Boyd, who had 21 points, really good game. And Zach Ertz with 21.2 points, really good for a tight end. So now Kyle Fayola is 2-2, Corey Fayola is 1-3. And the next brother-on-brother matchup, we had Kyle Cabral versus Jordan Cabral, and once again the Kyle and the family won. 176 to 143.8. Jordan gets his first loss of the season. That must hurt. He prides himself on winning everything. But 3-1, not bad. For Kyle, good game out of Brady, 25 points. Kareem Hunt and Giovanni Bernard both had 26. Kareem had 26.5. Giovanni had 25.6. And Golden Tate had 33.2, which real good game for Golden Tate. I don't want to see Will Fuller stats. Don't pick that up, phone. Everybody else, pretty good average scores for Kyle. For Jordan, Carson Wentz had 24.7. Good game coming back. I guess last week was his first game back, but so pretty good. Alvin Kamara, 41.1. He continues to dominate. However, Jordan Howard, his other starting running back, fucking sucked with only 2.5 points. Everybody else on his team put up pretty average scores, nothing earth-shattering. So, like I said, first loss of the season for Jordan. He's 3-1, and it was also Kyle's first win, so he is now 1-3. Big bounce back week from Kyle after putting up only 85 points last week. I guess he saved them all for this week, putting up 176. Well, yeah, 176 even. Next we had the Battle of the Irish Boys. Sean Paul Wall Kennedy versus Edward McGrath. Eddie won this one, 141 to 109.6. Looks like Eddie just had pretty good scores across the board. Julio Jones had 26.3, and Cooper Kupp fucking 37.2. That helps when you can get almost 40 points from your flex guy. For Paul Wall, not a good game for Ben Roethlisberger, only 16.9 points. Buck Allen, also not great, 6.7. And Michael Thomas had his by far worst game of the year with only 8.7 points. Everybody else was pretty average for him. No great standout performances. Paul Wall did have Mahomes and Watson on his bench, which isn't great. They put up some big scores, but Eddie left some points on the bench too with Derek Carr and Amari Cooper. Also, were on Eddie's bench and had pretty big games. And last matchup, as always, my team versus Espo's, 167.6 to 125.4. Always a pleasure to beat Espo. It's what I look forward to most every single fantasy football year. Nothing that great for my team. 22 points from Saquon Barkley, pretty good. Never mind, I forgot. DeAndre Hopkins had a big game, 32.9 points, and Kittle had a real big game out of like fucking nowhere. He was pretty quiet the first half, I feel like. Ended up with 24.5 points. Lamar Miller sucked for me with only 4.9 points, but he seems to put up like 12 points a week, but if he puts up 20 the next week, he totally sucks and it averages out. So he had a big game for me last week, helped out in the W. Did not do much of it at all this week with only 4.9 points. But that didn't matter because Espo had Russell Wilson only put up 9 points. Kenyon Drake only put up 2.6. Everybody else was pretty... he had Robert Woods at 21.1, which was nice for him on Thursday night. And Calvin Ridley with 21.5. And also a big game out of Green Bay's defense against Buffalo, putting up 21 points. But everybody else was average to below average for him. So I end up getting the W. I am now 2-2, Espo's 1-3. I forgot for the last matchup, both Eddie and Paul Wall are both 2-2 now. So, the standings are interesting. It's, in the Eastern Division, it's Jordan Cabral and Davis, both tied at 3-1. Davis's team sneaky stinks, though. He's got, like, the least amount of points in the league. No, Espo has the least amount of points in the league. But Davis's team really isn't as good as their record, so he can be caught. Then tied at 2-2 is Kyle Fiola and Corey Fiola. Oh no, Kyle Fiola is in second place. Tied for last in that division is Corey Fiola and Kyle Cabral. And in the Western Division, Barnsy's on top. Then there's a three-way tie at second with me, Eddie, and Paul Wall. And then bringing up the rear is Espo at 1-3. But everybody's close. Still a young season. For next week, the matchups are me versus Corey Fiola, so that should be a pretty easy win. Then Jordan Cabral versus Davis. So once again, Jordan should probably win that because Davis's team kind of stinks. And then McGrath versus Barnsey. Battle of the Kyles, Cabral versus Fiola. And then Paul Wall versus Espo. So, should be an interesting week. See if we can shake up the standings a little bit more. Make, it's already pretty interesting. Everybody's pretty close. But whatever. It's Tuesday morning, the weather sucks. I took an edible last night and I don't have much energy today, so hope you enjoy. Have a good day, night, fucking whatever, week. See ya.